Hello. Welcome to the Dorothy Edit with me, Dorothy Coomson. And today I'm talking to another wonderful author about their new book. And today it is Louise Minchin, and she's going to talk to us about her new book. So, hello, Louise.
Oh, Dorothy, thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here.
Thank you. And can you tell us, first of all, the title of your book?
My book is called Isolation Island. It was my original title. I never dreamed they'd go for it, but they did. And I'm so pleased that they did so.
Okay. In a nutshell, what is your book about?
It is about 10 celebrities who are going to go on the toughest of tough reality TV shows. It's set in the northwest coast of Scotland on a tiny island, and they are going to be living like they were monks in a derelict monastery. Now, it's going to go live on air a couple of times a day. And the key thing about this reality show, there's two key things. The production team are on the mainland. They're on the island completely on their own, or they think they are. And there is a prize, a very special prize. It's called Your Answered Prayer. Only one of the celebrities will win the prize. And it is something that even they, and they are huge, there's a massive Hollywood star on there. They've got lots of money between them. It's something that they actually can't buy. And it's a secret. And number three important thing, there is a storm on the way. Now, if you've read any Agatha Christie, if you've read And Then There Were None, you can guess probably what's going to happen. They are going to get cut off. And it's a thriller. I'm not giving too much away. Someone will die. I say with a big smile.
Someone will die, or
I just thought, well, I'm not going to say more than that.
Okay. What was the inspiration for this book?
Inspiration. So I used to present BBC Breakfast. Some people might have seen me on that. When I left the show, I went on another show, which is called I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. It was in 2021. It was in North Wales. And we went into this castle, derelict castle, not monastery, in North Wales. And it's very extreme going into one of those shows. But what was the most extreme was this massive once in 100-year storm stopped the show, took us off air. We had to get evacuated from the castle. And I remember sitting in the cab at the time, looking out the window. And I've had a character living with me for 12 years before that. She's called Lauren. She's an investigative journalist. She was going to go into a newsroom. And I drove away from that castle in the pouring, lashing rain with all these trees down. I didn't know where I was going, what I was doing. And I just thought, no. Lauren's not going to a newsroom. She's going to go into a reality TV show that goes spectacularly wrong. So that was the inspo.
Fantastic. That sounds really interesting. Who are your favourite characters or characters to control?
Okay, so I've got to be quite careful, haven't I? So I don't want to give any spoilers on this. But Lauren, obviously, it sounds so strange. And I've often interviewed lots of authors. And, Lauren literally, as I said to you just a moment ago, has been living with me for over a decade. So she was kind of already created. I already knew what she did. She's a tough investigative journalist. She comes from the Northwest. She's got a kind of complicated home life. So she was already part of my creation. But so when I went into the book, I wanted the celebrities to be exactly the kind of celebrities that you would have on your dream reality show. So I thought, what would they do? And I thought, right, let's have a Hollywood star. So that's Nate. And he is, I'm going to try not to mention any names. He's not based on anyone in particular, okay? But when you read the book, you might have your own version of who he's based on. But he is a tough guy. He's an action man. He's slightly older. He's sort of in his 50s. He is absolutely drop dead gorgeous. And when he arrives on the beach with the celebrities, there is this kind of moment when they're all, and you can imagine the audience just going, oh my gosh, Nate is here. So I loved creating him, and I'm not giving too much away by saying that Lauren has been investigating Nate for a while.
Okay. Oh,
she is on her own undercover mission. So Nate was delicious, absolutely delicious, because all is not what it seems with Nate, and I absolutely loved him, and I'd love to hear from readers what they actually think. I can't give too much away. Anyway, two of my other favorite characters. So we've got a rugby star, we've got somebody who's nearly been cancelled who was a singer, we've got a really brilliant Jude. She's called a sort of businesswoman guru. Lots of different types of people you would have in reality shows. But two of my favorites are actually Tazy and Holly, and they're young, they're Instagrammers, they're on social media, they're absolutely smashing smashing it, making so much money, more than any of the other people, all the other celebrities. But the other celebrities have no idea who they are. And I thought, what I've always wanted to do, I've got 2 daughters, and I love watching those relationships when people are so close that you can't actually tell whose thought is, who's making the thought, who's even talking. They are thick as thieves. And I absolutely loved leaning into them. I used to sit in the back of the car and listen to my daughters, I have never told them this, talking, and write down the way they talk and the kind of language they use and the speed at which they talk. So I absolutely loved those 2 girls.
Fantastic. What was the best thing about writing this book?
The best thing, and again, I feel so lucky. I've interviewed so many authors over the years, and I just never thought this was a thing. So the best thing was when my characters, and I laugh because it's just incredible when it happens, started doing things that I did not know they were going to do. And there's one particular, it happened, 2 really big things happened. So I wrote the whole first draft, and I'd probably even gone through it a second time. And the second time I went through it, I'd written the end, I'd written the whole thing, and I reread it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've just got this completely wrong. That is not what's happened. Actually, it was somebody else entirely. And that was just a moment of kind of, I had goosebumps and deliciousness, and that was so exciting to rewrite it. And it's so interesting because you rewrite it and you think, gosh, maybe I have to change. I didn't have to change much because that character all the time was doing bad stuff. I just didn't know it. It sounds absolutely bonkers, doesn't it? But that's so exciting. And then again, at the end, my editor, so, it's a long process, isn't it, writing a book? And I've got a brilliant editor at Headline called Lucy. And she, I was there, it was like 99% there. And she kept saying, we need one more scene between 2 main characters. And again, I'm not going to give too much away because it just needed to kind of unlock it. She said, we need a scene. And I'd been over it. I mean, I can't even tell you how many times I'd read it, looked for the scene, just couldn't find it. And then I went through one last time, and it was a question of Lauren is one of the characters. Okay, not to make spoilers. It was a question of her turning left, not right. And she went into this room and she's met with this person. And oh my gosh, I just sat back and was like this while it kicked off. Because when you know your characters, you just need to put them in a situation and then sit back and watch. And that, again, it's giving me goosebumps now, is just so exciting. And I don't think that can happen often. I don't know about you, but yeah, I mean, that scene is my favorite scene in the book. And it was the last scene I wrote.
Oh, it sounds great. What do you want readers to take away from this book?
What I want them to take away, I think they want. Oh well, first of all, I think I want them to. I want them to have fun with it. I want them to turn the pages, not be able to stop, and to keep them up at night. And I want them to. There's also a message actually in the book as well. I'm not going to say, that I'm very passionate about Lauren and myself. Very passionate about fairness and about people doing bad things, about justice actually and retribution. So I think there's that as well. There's lots of messages, fun, and also maybe quite serious messages about reality TV going a little bit too far as well. No, that is not, and I'm not saying bad things about producers that I've been with, but reality TV is not what it seems on the telly.
Well, I suppose you would know from being behind the scenes.
I would.
I think we need to have a talk off camera. Off mic about this. I mean, if you there.
Yeah, I was about to say too much already, but yeah, I think it'll give you a little bit of an insight into how things are sometimes.
Yes, I'm so excited to hear. I'm going to have another chat with you about this. We have to.
Okay, we'll do it another day.
Okay, can you read a little bit of your book for us, please?
Yeah, I'm actually going to read the prologue because I've done quite a lot of thought about it, and I want viewers to enjoy it. I don't want them to have things ruined for them. So I'm going to read the prologue, and I think it will give you, hopefully, a little bit of insight, but no spoilers. So here we go. Deep breath. You can get it on audiobook, by the way, as well. It's not me reading, but this is my version of it. Dusk is falling when she finds it. Above her, the clouds have taken on the colours of an ageing bruise, grey, mauve and purple, and the air holds a strange, almost greenish light. It's a lull. The lichened stones are slippery from the rainfall, and debris is strewn across the graveyard. Long grasses are flattened against the headstones, and among the yew trees that flank the monastery walls, she sees a scar, vivid orange in the murky light, where the storm has sheared a branch from the twisted body of an ancient trunk. She guesses from the dark smudges on the horizon that it will not be long until the rain comes again, But for now, she's relieved simply to be outside, breathing in solitude and fresh air. Flashes of lightning are sparking from the banked-up clouds in the distance, and she can hear the wind beginning to moan. Time to go back. She turns for what strangely feels like home. At the end of the path stands the ruined west end of the chapel, a stage set of stone columns and crumbling arches dominated by the tall, square belfry. Heading towards it, she passes under the shadows of the trees. Here she hesitates. Surely she doesn't need to go in there. But when she sees the heavy oak door is slightly opened, the latch hanging, she ignores her better instincts. It scrapes against its lintel, so she has to put her shoulder to it to push it inwards, a wedge of pale light falling onto the flags and merging the dark interior into disjointed angles. Stepping inside, she feels her body tense in the cool of the space, the hairs at the back of her neck rising, as though being pulled into the emptiness above her head. It's the smell, she thinks, the distinctive dank mix of ancient stone and dust, the smell of centuries, the smell of time. "Hello?" she calls, her voice echoing up the cantilevered stone staircase and into the void. But the creaking she hears in return is indeterminate, nothing more than the wind whistling through the opening windows above. "Hello?" she calls again, girding herself to climb the stairs, an unwelcome prospect in the shadow dimness, with not even the torch on her phone to light her way. She takes the first flight as quickly as she can, the sound of her step on each stair magnified. Instinctively, she moves the wall, searching out its solid reassurance with her trembling fingers. As the stair turns, she finds herself clinging to the corner, alarmed by the height of the drop to her right. It's then she sees it. Behind the door she's just come through, there is a darkened mass wedged against it, a distorted shadow. As she flies back down the stairs, she knows what lies below, what she's found. When she reaches the misshapen heap, she gasps for air and scrabbles at the rough cloth, desperate for response. There is none. Only cold flesh and a lifeless hand with no reassuring pulse. Sitting back on her heels in despair, she reaches out to pull back the hood that hides the face. Her mind fractures with shock and confusion, two conflicting thoughts running through her head. It can't be true, and yes, it is. Because what lies in front of her is both impossible to believe and all too real. Outside the tower, the wind screeches as if in warning. She suddenly feels the enormity of how alone and vulnerable she is, crouched at the floor of an ancient stair, holding a cold, unmoving hand in her own. I'm not telling you who it is either.
Thank you
That was
so
Lauren.
much. So where can people find the book if they want to buy
People
it?
can find the book, and I always say this, hopefully in their own independent bookstores, because independent bookstores are so important for writers. So go there first. You can also find it if you go to my website, louiseminchin.com, or my Insta. There are links to that. You can pre-order. It's coming out on the 24th of April if it goes out before then. And you can find it in Waterstones on the internet, on a website beginning with A. You can find it in Tesco. I'm really excited about that. And lots of other places as well.
And your library?
And my library.
Local libraries. I always talk about libraries.
Okay. And my local library, you can find it in the library. And that is so exciting. Last week, I got my money from my other books that I had from my local libraries. And I tell you what, it's not very much, but my goodness, it feels like the most special pounds that I've ever earned.
I know, exactly. I love my libraries. And I love
you'll get a lot more than me, Dorothy. But I just honestly, I can
it
save that.
It makes a difference, and also it's good for the community. And finally, where can people find out about you?
Best place probably to find out about me is on Insta. I'm on TikTok a little bit. I'm not very good on TikTok, but mostly on Insta. And I've got a newsletter as well. You can subscribe to that via my website.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Louise. It's been wonderful talking to you.
Oh, Dorothy, thank you.
Hopefully I'll get to talk to you again about your next book.
Yep. 55,000 words in.
Oh my goodness, that's fantastic. Well done. You're further in than me. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Oh, bye.